What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You know who it is by now.
Jimothy.
So ladies and gents, we're doing a little bit of a different style of a video today. So basically I was looking for a few of my cards like I do from time to time on the evenings, and I came across one of the decks that I'm probably going to take to my next locals adventure, and that deck is Kozmo Dogmatika. Now I haven't actually finished the build. I was looking for the deck and I could tell there was a few things missing. I don't really have any going second cards in at the moment, and I don't really have any board breakers. I've literally just got engine cards and a few traps. So what I thought I would do is showcase the deck to you guys and let you guys give me some feedback on what you think could be improved, what could be added, what could be taken away, what you like, what you don't like, all that kind of stuff. And bearing in mind this deck is not finished, so let's get straight into the profile. Okay, ladies and gents, so this is the profile in question, Kozmo Dogmatika. Now, as you can see, the deck is none of you can see, the deck is 40 cards, by the way, and like I said previously, this deck is not finished by any stretch of the imagination. It was just a concept that I kind of like thought would be good, and I ran with it. Now when I'm actually doing my deck building and looking at decks, I actually take a lot of inspiration off the internet. I don't net deck per se, but it's just a good idea to have like a starting point, an idea of how the deck plays, and just somebody else's thoughts on it. And then I just basically use that skeleton to be able to create my own deck and put my own spin on things and how I want the deck to function and work. But like I said, I am one person and I'm working independently, so there's sometimes a few decisions that I make that aren't optimal, mainly because I'm making those decisions in isolation, and that's where you guys come in. So as you can see with the profile, it's pretty much straightforward for the for the Kozmo monsters. So we've got triple Dark Destroyer, we've got triple Tin Can, double Slip Rider, one Forerunner. We've also got one Dark Eclipser, as well as a Wicked Witch, Dark Lady, one Farm Girl, one Strawman, and I've actually put in a Kozmo Stormtroopers because when I was messing about with the deck initially, I felt like I was running too many of the higher level monsters. Obviously Dark Destroyer can, once it's summoned, it's just a pop and it just does so much for the deck, but I felt like I needed to balance it out with a few more of the lower level pilots, basically, to be able to then jump into my ships. For the Dogmatika lineup, I've just got triple double Fleur de Lis and triple Ecclesia, as well as obviously a couple of Dogmatika punishments. Now again, I probably don't need the second Fleur de Lis, especially as this deck can OTK very well. Probably only need one, but nevertheless I've got two in at the moment. Like I said, that's something that could potentially be changed. I'm also running triple Kozmo Town. Now I was thinking about just running a two, but you kind of want to see this, and you can kind of like, you can pop it off your Dark Destroyer if you need to. So it's just a nice another little search. I didn't put the terraforming in because I didn't want to just be able to, I didn't just want to die to like drone and lockbird basically, and this can actually mulligan your hand if you've got Kozmo monsters in your hand. So I just went for the 3 Kozmo Town rather than being able to search it with terraforming. You can actually dump it off Tin Can if you're unlucky enough to mill it, but it's an option that can be searched via Tin Can nonetheless. And then we've also got triple Nadir Servants, which just goes without saying. We've got double Emergency Teleport because it's back at 2, so why not? We've got double Pot of Extravagance and one Pinpoint Landing. I do own a playset of Pot of Extravagance, but this is one of the reasons why I stumbled across the deck actually, because I was looking for my Pot of Extravagance, the ones that I had, well, the 2 that I had in deck, and I was thinking, where the hell have they gone? And then I realized it was in my Kozmo Dogmatika deck, and I thought, you know what, this deck's actually interesting. I might even take this to locals. So that was the reason behind me just basically stumbling across this deck again and deciding to do something with it. I've running one Pinpoint Landing. I really like Pinpoint Landing. I don't know why. It just, if it stays on field, especially with this deck, because you can special summon on your opponent's turn and prop Pinpoint Landing. Obviously Extravagance is extravagant, so you don't necessarily need your extra deck, but I was thinking about putting in a couple of synchros, as well as putting in a couple of hand traps to be able to go into those synchros, but that is a little bit hit and miss, to be honest, but it might make the deck a little bit more flexible, especially if you're wanting to put in like a Ghost Ogre or something like that, because you can actually prop Ghost Ogre off your own Kozmo Town and pop it, which is an interesting interaction. I've also got triple torrential tribute as well as a back to the front, which is just a nice easy special summon, especially if you go into your Dark Destroyer, you summon it back from graveyard, pop a card, it gets destroyed, I most likely by battle, and you get to proc its effect to special summon one from deck. So a nice little interaction there. And then we've got double Cosmojo for the non-targeting banish. Now typically a lot of the builds that I've been seeing online are heavy trap builds that don't necessarily run the Dogmatika engine. I feel like the Dogmatika engine just gives another layer, and being able to use your extra deck as a resource is just something that I think is really interesting, especially in this deck. So this is the main deck. Like I said, it needs to be fleshed out. There's a few things that are missing that I definitely need to include. I need either some hand traps or just some defensive cards, because all in all, this deck looks fantastic going first, but going second, you just like, against some of the boards that are being created at the moment, you're just not going to be able to survive, and you won't see turn 3, let alone being able to play. So it's just something that I'm starting to learn to do a lot more, is try and incorporate more going second cards, either to protect your plays or to be able to slow your opponent down, so you at least get a chance to play. And having them in the main deck to start with is always a good idea. Now it is a little bit chocker at the moment because I've put two engines together, but like I said, there's a few things that could potentially be taken out and facilitate a couple of other engines, or even just some hand traps. So yeah, get at me in the comment section below, ladies and gents, with your suggestions anyway, and then we'll take a quick look at the extra deck. Okay, so this is what we've got for the extra deck so far. We've got one liner, the Light Charmer. We've got a Tri-Brigade, Ferrigit the Baron Blossom. That's just basically a Nadir Servant target, because you can search Ecclesia off it, as well as kind of mulligan or fix your hand, basically. Got two double entities for the pops, which is like Dogmatika punishment target, or even a Nadir Servant target. We've also got a Wind Pegasus at Ignista, just to shuffle away opponent's monster if they destroy one of our cards. Cypher Lord Omega, which goes without saying. Double Titanic Clad, which is just a nice end-phase summon, as well as Cyber Dragon Infinity and Cyber Dragon Nova. Now obviously this extra deck is not fleshed out by any means. There's loads of space, loads of flexi room for other things, and loads more Dogmatika punishment as well as Nadir Servant targets that I could potentially include. Now obviously in Cosmos you don't realistically go into your extra deck all that much, but there is some scope to be able to do so, especially if you wanted to tech in a few tuners to be able to put things on board that are a bit more of a floodgate, like Shen for example, which was something that I was actually considering, because like I said, this deck going first is nice. It sets up pretty well as long as you've got a half decent hand, and with some of the draw options you got a half decent hand regardless. But going second, it's a little bit of an issue, as well as breaking a board. You still need to establish some kind of like board dominance, and with some of the floodgate type monsters you can actually like make a Shen quite easily, depending on the type of tuners that you tech in. So that was just my thinking behind it. But like I said, ladies and gents, the deck isn't finished by any stretch of the imagination, and hopefully locals will be back this coming weekend, so I'll be able to attend some, because I haven't been too well over the Christmas period. I've actually been a little bit ill, to be honest, but nevertheless locals are going to be returning. Fingers crossed that they stay that way, especially with the current situation surrounding the pandemic. But this is probably the deck that I'm going to take just for a little bit of fun, because we've got a regional coming up and I'm potentially going to be playing Verda, like I mentioned previously. So this is just something to just kind of like reintroduce me back into Yu-Gi-Oh basically, after having a few weeks off, so to speak. But yes, ladies and gents, this is the deck profile. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like I said, I'm open to suggestion. I'm one man building like a whole host of decks without much input, apart from a few things that I see in my own thought processes. So definitely get at me in the comment section. Let me know what you would include, what you wouldn't include, what kind of interesting text that you'd put in a deck like this, or whether you think I should just rip the Dogmatika portion out itself and just go with pure Cosmos. It's definitely up for debate, but yeah, it is what it is. So we find ourselves at the end of another video. As always, if you do like this content, you know what to do by now. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, all of that beautiful good stuff, and I will definitely see you guys on the next video. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.